By far, this is probably the best Batman animated movie that I've ever watched. Hi, welcome to That's a Wrap, the channel where I review TV shows, movies, and movie trailers. Today's movie that I will be reviewing is the amazing Batman: The Killing Joke. If you're not familiar with this movie, please consider this your spoiler warning. So let's get on to the review. If you're not familiar with the comic book run or the comic book that this movie is based on, you're doing yourself a disservice, even though this movie seems to cover it pretty well. It's probably the best Batman story ever written and ever told. You get so many aspects of Batman and the Joker. You get a little bit of the origins or a origin story for the Joker that has been adapted in the DCEU. The live action adaptations have grabbed on to the origin of the Joker in this or from this comic book run. And this movie was a great adaptation for this movie. Now, I am not a fan of the Joker's origin story. I am one of those that want to keep it vague. It doesn't interest me. It doesn't make my experience of the Joker or what I believe the Joker is and how he becomes, the man we see in so many adaptations. I just think the mystery about that is I've never been like, well, I wonder how he was created. No, he was, he's the opposite of Batman. He wants to see the world burn, and I'm okay with having that vagueness and not knowing. I think it's one of the best secrets in comic book lore or history, however you want to take it. But I'm not mad at that at this animated movie. I mean, I want to call it more of a comic book because it was told in the comic book, but we're focusing on this movie. So before I just continue on that, do yourself a favor and go grab and check out the comic book in that this movie is based on. You won't be disappointed. So I'm gonna just focus on calling this for reviewing the movie, even though it's a great adaptation, literally almost page by page. There is a little bit differences in this, obviously, because it's an animated as opposed to like a sheet of paper. There's added stuff to this, but it's 99.9% perfect from the adaptation to that comic book run. So again, do yourself a favor, go check it out. This movie was great. I mean, this adaptation was perfect. The animation, I've said it before about Batman movies. The casting is always well done. That matches the characters that we're seeing on screen. The animation was on point. I mean, they got some of the OGs from animated universe to voice some of these characters, especially the Joker. They got Luke Skywalker over here to do him, and everybody knows how iconic he is in his portrayal of the Joker in the animated series that we all remember from our childhood, if you're old like me. So they got a lot of heavy hitters to voice act some of these characters. And you could definitely tell the talent and the acting is raised to another level. The storyline, again, I think I devoted the first freaking 4 minutes on how you need to go out and check out the comic book. I know I wasn't going to talk about the comic book, but go check it out and you'll fully enjoy this storyline and how brilliant it is. Again, I'm not selling it short when I say this by far, and I've seen a lot. I've read a lot. I consider myself pretty versed in comic books. And I don't care whether it be Image, whether it be DC, whether it be Marvel. As far as a standalone story for the Batman, this is tops. I don't think there's anything better. And if there is, let me know. What do you think rivals this? Leave it down in the comments. But for me, this one right here is the top for the Batman story, or for a Batman story. I think there's better ones like the Justice League. I think the Justice League, the Flashpoint, to be A+. I rated this movie an A. So just, I normally leave those ratings towards the end, but I rated this movie an A. There was a little bit, like I said, I'm not a fan of the Joker's origin story. I did feel in parts the story dragged on a little bit too long, but only in certain parts. But I found the pacing to be great. The score for this movie was out of this world. Like I said, the storyline, the voice acting, animation on another level. And if it wasn't just for me being really, really nitpicky, I could have given this movie an A+. And just and consider this like an A, but damn so close to an A+. Because it's just an amazing story. I mean, you get Batman and Batgirl hooking up in this thing. And then that's not even the shocker enough, right? Like they hook up and then Joker shoots her and leaves her paralyzed. Now, I don't think if you've read the comic book and when you see this and when Commissioner Gordon is being drugged through the tunnel, you see pictures of Batgirl naked, and there's many speculations whether the Joker raped her while she was paralyzed and bleeding. I don't think he did rape her. Because the Joker has never been about sexual assault. He's always been I don't want to call it in a higher mindset for a freaking psychopath murderer, but it was never his forte to rape. So I just think it was more too embarrassing saying, hey, look, I could take whatever is the most precious from you and in a heartbeat. And that's what makes this story so brilliant, that they wrote it where they're leaving it up to us. They want you to develop your own storyline. What did you think? We're going to leave it up to you whether the Joker did this, or whether the Batman did this, or whether this did that, or whether it was a dream, whether there was like hallucinations. It's so left to the reader, and in this case, to the viewer, to make up your own conclusions. And you do. Your mind goes everywhere. Now, again, I read the comic book, so I already had my preconceived notions before I even watched this animated movie. But let me tell you this, watching it in motion, my mind still went to those places. Like I was like, man, did he probably rape her? Like, because the way Commissioner Gordon comes out, he is like shook to his core. And you're like, well, what would cause him to be that heartbroken, that traumatized? And I'm like, it couldn't just because she was naked and she was bleeding. Like your mind just takes you there, and that's what the writers want you to do. The writer of this story even in the comic book, that's exactly how he wrote it. And that is beautiful storytelling, to just guide you, lead the horse to water, and then let the fucking water drink the horse, or not. Drink the water or not drink the water. And that's what he does so well. And that ending, oh my God, is that not the most, it could be both best ending or the most infuriating ending that you could possibly think. Now, I'm not going to discuss whether what you believe, what was the ending or not, if you believe that it's one or the other. But just if you're not even familiar with the story, you might be like, well, what was the point? There's no conclusion to this story. At least that's what you would think. Again, they leave it up to our imagination to finish off to think. Now, when you're seeing the ending, and again, spoiler alert, if you're this far into the video and you're still listening, you're okay with things being spoiled. But it was already hard. It was already dope enough to see the Joker tell the joke and then have Batman follow up in that joke. Now, there was a little bit before that where Batman goes to Arkham Asylum to talk to the Joker, and he's like, look, I know this is going to end with one of us dying, one of, killing each other, but I don't want it to go that way, but maybe that's where our destinies lies. And that's where he finds out that the Joker, left or left Arkham Asylum, which led to the series of events that follows. So at the end of this movie, he basically throws an olive branch at the Joker saying, look, so I know our stories are intertwined, and maybe we meant me to kill you or for you to kill me, but I want to offer you help. And the Joker declines it. Then he tells him a story about two inmates trying to leave, and the Joker starts laughing, and Batman follows up and starts laughing, and they're both laughing together. Now, this is a little bit different from the comic book. In the comic book, you never see Batman's hands go up to the Joker's neck. In this animated movie, they do a little bit more insinuating for you, and you see the hands go up on his shoulder towards his neck. And the camera pans down, and they're still laughing together. But then you only hear Batman's laugh still continue. The Joker goes away, and Batman's still laughing, and then it fades to black. So again, they're pushing you into a certain train of thought, which, I get it. It's an animated movie. You want to do a little bit different, your own thing. But in the comic book, they don't do that, and they leave it up to you to decide, which has been one of the big debates as to this storyline and what you believe. There are so many people that believe that the Batman killed the Joker, which some believe cheapens this story, while others believe that Batman did choke him and killed the Joker, which I personally believe that. They wouldn't, as far as this movie, maybe not from the comic book, but as far as this adaptation, he definitely killed the Joker. They wouldn't emphasize the laughters like that, and then having Batman be the only one laughing at the joke if he hadn't gone crazy. It could have been a toxin that the Joker had instilled in some of his goons before he finally caught up to him. Like I said, there's so many things that it could have been a hallucination. It could have been a dream. The Joker could have almost had like a suicide and force the Batman to turn a little crazy to kill him, maybe for the pain that he caused, for all the things. Maybe he did rape, Gordon's niece. Maybe he did do all these atrocities. Maybe he has done some of the unspeakables that left him so demented and is so wanting someone to end his suffering, and he forced Batman to do it. But whatever it is that you think, that's still the beauty of this animated movie. Again, they're leaning forward, they're leaning to a certain side in this animated movie, but with the pan out, they still want you to come up with your own conclusion. And that is by far some of the greatest storytelling that you're going to find, as far as any genre. I don't care what it is, but for me, I land on the side where Batman kills the Joker. Let me know, what side do you fall on? Do you think that he didn't kill the Joker, or do you believe that he did strangle and kill the Joker? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Again, rating for me is a solid A. Highly recommend this. If you're a fan of great storytelling, great animation, great voice acting, just an overall enjoyable, lags a little bit, like I said, but overall just a brilliant adaptation and a brilliant film. Go check this out. If you're a Batman fan, You won't be disappointed. Again, some of the well-known actors that voice act are in this series, and yeah, go out and watch it. Again, highly recommended. So anyways, those are just my thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments, and like always, that's a wrap.